Welcome to Three Count Commentaries, in which we must discuss Rampage from December the 17th, 2021. We will also be talking about the Owen Hart tournament and Tony Khan losing his mind when talking about Fox News. In fact, that's where we're going to start this thing because I found out about this very late, that Tony Khan tweeted at Fox News, and I was like, why would he do such a thing? And it turns out that Fox News did an article after his dad fired Urban Meyer, the football coach. They did an article talking about how things in the Khan Empire ain't doing so well, and that the Jaguars are 1-15 or something like that. They're a terrible team, and they just fired the head coach. And that All Elite Wrestling, the ratings have gone down despite the fact that they've got all of this influx of new talent, like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and Adam Cole, etc. They named all of the guys that, he's brought in, but, that the shows have kind of flatlined in the ratings and dropped down. But it wasn't a hit piece. It wasn't like they were talking about how terrible the Khans are or anything like that. It was only that they have the potential to turn things around in 2022. It was kind of like, everything is rough for the Khans right now, but 2022 has it's a new year with a different opportunities or something, some boilerplate horse stuff with this, no big deal. So Tony Khan then responds in the most markish way possible by tweeting at Fox News. And it is absolutely embarrassing. It says, "Hey, Fox News, it's amusing hearing you opining about AEW ratings, considering AEW on Wednesday has beaten every single Fox News show for 6 straight weeks. Here are the recent charts, including this week, to prove it. See you tonight on TNT Drama for Rampage." Tony Khan is getting over on his fan base. His fan base eats this stuff up. They really do. But Tony Khan, either he's ignorant, or he's naive, or he's just plain stupid. Here's the reality. Showbuzz Daily does rank TV shows by the 18 to 34 demographic. That's how they rank the shows. So if you look at those shows from Tony Khan's tweet, AEW is technically ranked higher than Tucker Carlson Tonight, which is the highest rated show on Fox. There's 2 caveats to this, though. 1, Tucker Carlson Tonight has 3 times the viewers of AEW Dynamite. He has nearly 4 million viewers. Nearly 4 million people watch Tucker Carlson. Again, Showbuzz Daily ranks these shows by the 18 to 34 demographic. When you look at that, and you see that there's 4 times as many people watching Tucker Carlson, and when it comes to overall viewers, and then when you look at the 18 to 34, it's actually very close. It's like a 1-point difference between them. When AEW claims that they beat SmackDown, and I put up on the screen for everybody to see during that whole shabazzle, I put it up on the screen. SmackDown was ranked 3rd. Rampage was ranked 4th. And people still said they beat SmackDown in the ratings. And then it was, oh, no, we beat SmackDown in this very specific 30-minute spot. And it was like, okay, whatever. You're number 1 among teenage girls, 18 to 19, at 10 p.m. in the middle of Saskatchewan. I don't know. I don't care. All right? But this is the second bullet point. This is the second asterisk. And this is something that I think most people don't know. This is why I think that Tony Khan is probably naive. The news networks do not have the same demographics as pro wrestling and the rest of television. Every network has different demographics. They have different types of audiences that they're looking to attract. For the news, the audience is 25 to 54, not 18 to 34. So even if you did crush Fox News in the coveted 18 to 34 demographic, Fox News don't give a damn because that's not their demographic. They're not looking at the 18 to 34. They're looking at the 25 to 54. That's how they make their money. And guess what? You could just Google that if you wanted to know it. I already knew that. So I didn't have a problem with it. And in fact, I'm fairly sure that in 2019, 2020, when the whole pandemic was happening, and the Young Bucks was like, oh, the ratings are down because everyone's watching the news. It's like, well, yeah, everyone's watching the news because it was in the middle of a pandemic and people wanted to know what was going on with the pandemic. And it happens all the time. You know, when there's a big news thing happening, the news shoots up all of a sudden. CNN, MSNBC, everybody is getting more views than they ever gotten before. But Fox News is pretty consistent. You know, Tucker Carlson, most watched name in news. Pretty consistently. Like forever. Still, to this day, he gets more eyeballs than anything outside of the NBA. Tony Khan making this comment was just to rile up maybe demoralized fans who might feel bad about the ratings not being what they want them to be. You know, there's a lot of people who were deflated and beat up and depressed because the 1 hour match didn't do that well. In fact, it did well at the beginning and then it picked back up at the end. That was kind of the shape. It got, you know, when it started, because it's a big match starting the show, and then it dipped in a little bit and it flattened out, and then it came up again near the end. And then it fell off a fucking cliff afterwards. And it didn't come back until MJF came back out there. Right? So we're in a position where AEW now has to try to justify itself to its audience, who are now feeling more demoralized by the week as they keep doing these big events, these big things, and it's not really working out in terms of viewership. You know, they're like, oh, we need more pieces, we need more players, we need more, you know, more meat for the meat machine. And it's like, whatever. You don't have to do this though. You could have ignored that thing. It wasn't dissing you. It wasn't dissing your company. It wasn't even dissing your dad. It wasn't dissing anybody. It was just saying that your show has flattened despite the fact that you spent all this money on these new guys, which is true. It's a fact. It was the whole point of the article. Most of the article was about your dad firing Urban Meyer. It wasn't even about you in AEW. It wasn't like CM Punk he's a flop. It wasn't even saying that. It wasn't nothing of the sort. It was just kind of, hey, you know, things aren't looking too good for the Cons on the sports front, but maybe they could turn it around next year. That's all it was. And he flipped out. He's a mark. Why would you do that? Why would you put... Well, I know why he would do it. He would do it because he knows that certain people saw it and he wanted to try to defend themselves from it. I saw another thing, and this is going to be the last thing I say on the subject of Tony Khan and this situation. We're going to talk about the Owen Hart Cup, then we'll talk about Rampage. The people think Fox News somehow is related to SmackDown being on Fox. It's not. That delineation had taken place a long time ago. Fox News is owned by a different entity than Fox and everything else. Fox Sports, FX, and FFXXX, and all that stuff. You know, all that is different, Fox. It's not like, you know, Fox News got an email from WWE saying, here, talk about Tony Khan's ratings being low. It's like, no. You know? Now, I will say this. Fox News has more than enough viewers and enough people hitting their website and stuff like that could have seen that article and probably got the impression that your company has flatlined. You know, maybe. But it was one article. It wasn't even that bad. I read it myself. You know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a big deal. He could have ignored it. But maybe he felt like he needed to respond because Fox News is such a big information stream for some people. And maybe that's the case. You know, he felt like he had to try to defend his company in the midst of, you know, being attacked by Fox News. But that wasn't the case at all. He wasn't being attacked by Fox News. He's just a mark. All right, so the Owen Hart Cup is apparently going to be a men's tournament and a women's tournament. So it's going to be a pair of Owen Hart Cups. There's going to be 2 different divisions. That's fine. The tournament will conclude at Double or Nothing. That will be the big payoff. All right, the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. I like it. I still don't have a problem with it. It's okay. You know, it's all about what they do with it. They got the name. They got the pictures. And they're going to have Martha there. It ought to be very interesting what they're going to do. Martha showing up is very interesting, though. Martha and the kids being there. Well, they didn't say the kids were going to be there. They said Martha was going to be there. But I'm assuming the kids are going to be there and Martha's going to be there. So that ought to be interesting. All right, now let's get into this terrible Rampage show. Have mercy. I put it off as long as possible. Rampage. You start the show with Young Bucks, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish losing to best friends Rocky Romero and Orange Cassidy. Trent pinned Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish is just a job guy. You know, I did not. Of course, I didn't like this match. Of course, I didn't like it. How could you like it? Again, the Young Bucks have the same match all the time. And the best friends do nothing but hug. The only thing about this match I thought was remotely interesting was Orange Cassidy did a dive outside the ring that I thought was pretty dope. Outside of that, I found it hard to even pay attention to this match. I don't care about the Young Bucks. I just don't care, man. Like, it's hard for me to care. Like, it's 100 of these clowns. You know, I just find it very hard to care. I find it very hard to care. Why is that? Adam Cole is so dragged down with this. And now he's finally going to have the match with Orange Cassidy. He's going to be at Holiday Bash. I'm like, okay, please just get it over with. It's like watching your grandma on life support or something like that. And it's just beep, beep, beep. And you're like, I don't want to see my grandma like this, man. You know, I don't want to see Adam Cole like this. I see why Jim Cornette fast forward through these segments. Because, you know, when Adam Cole was doing cool stuff not too long ago, and now he's being a dork, hanging out with dorks, doing dork shit. I don't know, man. Whatever. Do your thing, boy. But last point on this match is you got dudes kissing each other on one side, dudes hugging each other in groups on the other side. Tell me there's no propaganda. There's absolutely propaganda. All right, so Dan Lambert is back, and he's back talking. He says that he wasn't going to let his guys get screwed, and that Tony Khan is a con man. Tony Khan man claimed that he was going to not run wrestling companies like other people. There wasn't going to be any nepotism. It's all going to be based off merit. Everybody's going to get a shot based off of what they can do. And he said, oh, yeah, he started doing that eventually. He pushed the skateboard freak, and he pushed Sammy Guevara. He pushed all these guys. And he said, but in the back door, while he was doing all that at the front, at the back, he was gifting title shots to EVPs. And he's become what he hates the most. Late stage WCW. I was like, oh, no. Then Cody came out there. And I was saying to myself, I don't hate Cody. I don't. I think Cody is funny. You know, he reminds me a lot like, you know, Daffy Duck. You know, he's a good guy sometimes. He's a bad guy sometimes. But overall, he's just kind of there. You know, you might get a kick out of him every once in a while. And then him and Dan Lambert started snatching the microphone away from each other. And I was just kind of like, excuse me? What? Pardon me? It's 10 o'clock on a Friday. And this is what we're going with? He's snatching the mic from each other. Of course, Cody gets jumped by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Then Dustin ran out there to help him. And then Sammy Guevara came out there to help Cody. So Cody and Sammy had an awkward look at each other. Like, oh, you protected your challenger. Good day to you, sir. See you on Christmas Day. Whatever. Cody helping Sammy Guevara get more over. Interesting. I don't see I'm guessing there's going to be a 6-man tag or a tag team match featuring these guys. Wait a minute. Who would be in the 6-man tag? It would be Man of the Year and Dan Lambert? No, that doesn't sound good. It has to be Man of the Year, right? It has to be Man of the Year versus Cody and Dustin. All right. Whatever. I don't like Ethan Page. And Scorpio Sky is he's a dead fish. He's a Cesaro of AEW. It's like everybody likes this guy. He's a great worker. They want the best for him, but he's got to want more for himself. He can't just stand there, being the fifth wheel in a 4-man group. All right, so you got Ty Conti defeated Penelope Ford in a submission match, and I was like, why did this match occur? The submission finish was cool though. Then Bunny knocked out Tay with brass knuckles right immediately after the match was over. She got up and to celebrate and got punched right in the face and knocked right out. Anna Jay then ran the Bunny off and Penelope Ford. This was a waste of time. This was a waste of everybody's life. Then 2.0 started cutting this promo. And I just realized as I was watching this that they're called 2.0 and they were fired from NXT. So while you got people talking about the Needle Mover shirt, you literally have these guys, Everrise. Now they're calling themselves 2.0. And I'm guessing that's a mock or a knock on WWE NXT 2.0. Is that, or was this their name when they were on the Indies? I don't remember. Let me know in the comment section. It sounded like a reference to me, dog. In any event, they were talking about Fat Guy, whose name I think is Matt. He says that they were just giving them a taste before, but not tonight. They're going to get the whole thing. Eddie Kingston didn't want to talk, just said he's going to beat their asses, and that was it. Match, as it was set up, was Eddie Kingston, the Lucha Brothers, and Santana Ortiz versus Daniel Garcia 2.0 and the Acclaimed in a 10-man tag team match that I pretty much near died watching. I tried, man. I legitimately tried, bro, but I was like, man, this is not going to work. This ain't going to work. Daniel Garcia actually pinned Eddie Kingston in a surprise finish. Surprised the hell out of me. It looked like the referee might have botched it. It looks like Kingston might have botched it. Somebody might have botched it, and maybe that wasn't even the planned finish. Or maybe it was just designed to look like a fluke. And in any event, it was Daniel Garcia won. So that's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, finally, Daniel Garcia finally wins. Of course, the babyfaces get their shit kicked in immediately afterwards. And this led Jurassic Express to run down to the ring to help them. Jurassic Express run the bad guys off, save Eddie Kingston. They did the old title tease with the Lucha Brothers by picking the belts up, and it was like, you guys are the champs for now. You're the champs for now. And I was like, okay, well, the show's over. Thank God. Thank God it's over. Hook will be back next week for all you hookers. You whores out there. You hookers out there. Your boy is back. He's wrestling some dude named Bear Bronson, who I'm guessing is going to stand still while Hook just does stuff to him. So, interesting enough. This show was miserable. It was miserable. Like, truly miserable. It was, man. Usually they have at least one match or one segment on Rampage worth talking about. There was a grand total of 0 on this thing. There was no segments worth spending a lot of time talking about. And there wasn't any matches worth spending a lot of time talking about. So it was all a moot. This show deserves for nobody to watch it, if we're being honest. That's the God's honest truth. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, donate. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression, regression.